Alright, is everything working? Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Want to make sure I can see chat. Cool. That's good. Well, that actually might be a bit loud. One sec. And okay, that should... that's still kind of blowing out the mic, but maybe it'll be fine. Possibly. Probably not. Maybe. It's fine. Alright. We are playing a game that has taken up about 200 hours of my life. I enjoy this series quite a bit, and because of Baldur's Gate being released, Baldur's Gate 3, soon-ish, I have a lot of hype going on right now. So I'm playing this on stream because I just enjoy playing this game. I'm also very good at it. I have a vast amount of knowledge that I can bestow upon others. Hopefully. Maybe. If anyone shows up. Hopefully someone will show up. I don't like talking to... It's easier when people in the chat. But yes, we're going to be playing Big Brain Man. What does that mean? Well, we're going to play on hard because I'm streaming and I'm not... I can play on Path of the Damned. I've done it before. It's very difficult. And there's a lot of min-maxing you have to do. And it becomes easier if you don't use the companions that are pre-made. I want to use the companions that are pre-made. They're fun. No spoilers, but they're all very interesting individuals. So, if I play Path of the Damned and stream, I get frustrated and have to min-max to a serious degree. So no, we're gonna play hard. Hard's good enough. Hard's good enough for an entertaining stream. Not too easy, not too difficult. Play Path of the Damned later. Yes, this is Pillars of Eternity, if anyone doesn't know. This is a spiritual successor to the Baldur's Gate franchise. Specifically Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. And
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
alright. So this is the character creator. So, now, there's nothing wrong with playing a female character. However, I like to identify with the people I play as. That's all I'm going to do. And here are the races. The one thing that I don't like about the races is that right now, obviously, if I want to do the big brain time, I'm going to have to do something with really high intellect so I can max that out. But if you want to min-max, you're choosing a very specific race. Although, there's probably not a lot of ways of getting around that due to the fact that that happens in every RPG fan. So, ciphers, going to be classes, are very particular with intellect and dex sometimes might, but intellect is by far their most important. Also resolve, which theoretically means I should be a godlike. So I can get +1 to int. And +1 to dex. But everyone's a godlike. I mean, I could. I don't actually, I haven't decided on what race I want. I could be. You know, okay. Thing with godlikes is they have very powerful racial traits. You have fire, moon, and death, and all of them have like death are good at killing things. Moon likes heal. This is a moonlight. Actually, I'll show you. There's death, fire, godlike, and nature. Natures get a bonus when they're below 50% health, which is great. Every time at 75%, they let out heal wave, then 50, and then 25, another heal wave. Fire godlikes are when they get damaged enough, they'll start to glow, and they start taking they get more defensive. Damage reduction is just you take less damage than fire damage. So you smite those who fight you. And then death godlights attack an enemy with 20. They literally are like, I kill people faster. They do more damage. Death godlikes are really good ciphers because they get more basic. Doing damage as a cipher is important because their resources is damage dependent. Doing damage gives them a. So this is actually really like Death Godlike's really good cipher. My first cipher was a Death Godlike. However, all my first characters are godlikes because they're cool. Their drawback is they can't wear hats, and that's actually a very serious drawback because there are some very powerful hats. Very powerful hats. Yeah, I'm gonna be a godlike. I've decided. Might as well. Might as well be the cool guys. So you can choose their body type, which basically means what race. The lore of the godlikes is they were born gifted with this appearance, so they could literally be. They could have originally have been any other race. So you can have human godlikes, you can have a Mawa godlikes, dwarf, elf, or it doesn't matter. Here's the classes. There are quite a few. However, the important thing is Cipher. Cipher is by far the most unique class to this game. They are unique in the way of how they cast, like, they're, I'm not going to say 5th edition myth, because they're not. They do have more psionic based abilities, but it's not psionics, surprisingly enough. It's actually more along the lines of the basically manipulations of the soul. And that goes into more detail in the story later, but the soul's important in this game. Like there's a great deal of story that goes along. Yeah, I'm gonna be Cypher. There's also obviously my favorite. I like wizards, I like druids. Druids used to be very overpowered in this game. They got nerfed. They're still pretty good. Not as good. Priest is okay. The one I hate the most is Paladin. I feel Paladin is very boring. Because Paladin is basically just an aura thing. And they, you know. Cypher's cool. Now, the way ciphers work is you effectively have this pool of spells you can cast. You choose 2 at first level, so you get 2 of these. You have Antipathetic Shield. This is a Death Ray. It's just straight up a Death Ray. It's extremely powerful, however the way you have to actually cast it is you have to cast it between 2 characters, which means that it's really difficult to pull off without friendly fire. You have Eye Strike, which is just a AoE blind. Blind is an incredibly powerful debuff. Accuracy is reduced by 25. That's 25%, basically less chance to hit if you get hit with it. Do you have 25% chance less to hit for 10 seconds? This can be augmented by intellect. Same thing, Dazed is just more accuracy reduction. Basically, Blind is a very powerful. This is their most powerful debuff. It's Charmed, but it only lasts for 10 seconds. Mind Wave. This is single target damage. and then in a cone behind them, they get knocked down. Cold shock is you cause an ally to explode and to peacefully explode. It doesn't hurt your ally, but they radiate electricity. It does damage. Doesn't tell you how much damage. Well, yeah, it does. So a lot of damage, but you have to use an ally. Continuous grasp. This frightens and confuses. Frighten is a minor debuff. Confused can be horrible, or it can be nothing. Because there's a random chance of like, oh, you do normal, or you attack an ally, or you do nothing. Confused is almost as bad as Charmed. Charmed is literally the most overpowered thing in the game. Charmed, Domination, Mind Control, all those are extremely powerful because they completely upset the balance of the action economy. It's pretty bad. So, Charmed, they're on your side now for 10 seconds. We're taking that one. The other one, I mean, I like Antipathetic Field because it's a death ray. It's 13 to 21 damage per second for 12 seconds. Nope, 6 seconds. 6 seconds. That's still, that's level 1 spell doing 100 damage. Your other single target damage is Mind Wave. This only does 20. 10 to 19, actually. Yeah, it does 10 to 19 damage. And that's it. So, Antipathetic Shield is amazing. However, it's also really hard to pull off. Yeah, we could... I can't talk it up at night. Stats are important too. Intellect is by far the most. Wow, I was right, my dex. You can also do Resolve. I'm not sure if I want this man to be melee-based. Could be. Interesting. But if we want him to be melee-based, we can't... There's certain things we can't dump. My favorite part about this game is all these stats are actually important. They all contribute something to pretty much every class. So for example, Might is just how much is a damage modifier. If you have high Might, you do more damage, and you do more healing. If you have low Might, you do less damage and healing. Literally, your numbers are bigger when it comes to damage. Constitution is universal amongst all RPGs. It's how many times you can get hit before you die, which also means it's universally a horrible dump stat, unless you're making a glass cannon. Dex is action speed. This is also a damage-based item. Also a spellcaster-based thing, because if you can't, you're casting a spell is an action. You cast more spells with higher dexterity in a smaller amount of time. It's also more important for ciphers, because ciphers also gain their casting resource, which is focus. Focus is something they use to cast spells. They get that from basic attacks. So the more times they can base attack, the more damage, the more resources they get, the more spells they can cast. Perception is also like the low-key universal, more so than Constitution. You never dump Perception, ever. You'll never dump Perception. This is literally your chance to hit. It increases your accuracy. Every 1 point in accuracy is a 1% chance to hit, so you want this to be more than 10. Always. In every build. Known to man. This is incredibly important. Intellect is area effect damage. No, not damage. Area of effect. Or how big an area you affect. So if you do a fireball and you have high int, your fireball will be bigger, but not necessarily do more damage. The other thing intellect affects is duration of effects, of buffs and debuffs. This means, this is why it's so important for ciphers, because like this Whisper of Treason, it's charmed for 10 seconds on somebody with 10 int, with normal int, with unadjusted int. However, on me, because it's plus 45% duration, it'll be 14.5 seconds. So this is incredibly important for a cipher. Then you have Resolve. Resolve is funny because it would be completely... it would be completely pointless to put any levels into this if it wasn't for the fact that this contributed to deflection. Deflection is by far the most important defense in the game. It is the closest thing that you have to like 5th edition to Dungeons & Dragons AC bonus. So you want deflection. Just this is one of the stronger ones for a defensive character. Although if you're more of an offensive character or you're more of a ranged character, this will mean less. But it still is something that you don't want to... Like, none of these you want to dump to 0. But you'll notice that that's a definite weakness that you will have. It's not something like in 5th edition, where, like, in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, where it's like, oh, you're a barbarian. You can have an int of 6, and it will never matter. Ever. You'll never feel that 6 int, because you're a barbarian, and you don't have to be smart. Whereas here, if you're a barbarian and you have, like, a really low int, you're... Because in this game, barbarians have rage, just like in 5th edition. That will last a shorter amount of time. And it will suck. So there are cases where you will have a barbarian who has a high int. Because he wants to have plus 50% or whatever on his rage. But yeah, so int's going up. Dex, might. The problem with this is if I want to have a melee based, I need to put stuff into resolve. That does mean that I can't put anything in perception. Might actually just put it to 0 might. Oh, and might. Neutral might. I might actually put some stuff out of might. If I want to melee focus. The reason behind that is I get plus 2 deflection and concentration. Also something super important for melee casters. Obviously this is abnormal. Don't do this on your first run. This is something I'm doing because I think it would be fun. I have tested this one before, and it's not completely useless. So, and you can change this afterwards. Probably. I'm sure you can. Last bit of things on the attributes. These do not change. Or they don't increase or decrease. The only way you can change these is through enchanted items. That's it. That's all that can be changed. This is also something that's kind of interesting, but kind of sucks because it has a stat base to it. So, these are all the different lands of Pillars of Eternity. The land is called Eora. E-O-R-A. But these are all the different lands. There's Adir. This is a tropical empire, like huge empire. There's elves and humans, and then a bunch of the other races. And this is probably like the most powerful nation at the moment. Yeah, the Adir Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. There's a Deadfire Archipelago. This is actually in Pillars of Eternity 2. This is the setting. But this is where the Amawa... This is where the Coastal Amawa... No. Coastal Amawa? It's where the Amawa are from, other than Rauatai. The Rauatai is a different... I think... No. Rauatai is coastal. This is the Oceanic Amawa. Because they live in the sea. They live in an archipelago. There's Ixometal Plains. This... Ixometal Plains, Oadvalia, and... That's it. Those are the 2 human settlements. Those are where the humans are from. This is where, like... This is, like... Savannah Plains. This is actually fairly close. This is, like... fairly northern to the area of... where this game setting is. Oadvalia is far off. This is, like... It was the best, and now it's the worst. This is where people live, where there's a lot, trade. It's a very old city, but it recently, like, it had some problems, and now there's Oadvalia, and then there's the Valian Republics, which are not, and the Valian Republics broke off from Oadvalia. Oadvalia is this just old, rich culture. Everyone's kind of an asshole. And then the Valian Republics are everyone's kind of an asshole. But it's a seafaring, merchant-based empire, basically. Can't be from the Valian Republics for some reason. I don't know why, but whatever. There's Rautai. Rautai is a coastal city. This is where one of the characters from this game that one of my favorite characters from this game is from. Everyone's character. It's a Gulf, basically. It's Rautai. The Gulf itself is hosted over nations. It's also very powerful. They're actually very well known for like gunpowder, guns, stuff like that. That's where the coastal Amao live. Living Lands is dwarven for the most part. It's a bunch of mountains with like spots of non-mountainy environments. And its ecosystem vary dramatically from valley to valley. So yeah, this is the game that I hope Pillars of Eternity 3, if it ever is made, is based on. The white that wins is snow. Snow. Mostly snow. Home to Pale Elves. Kinda sucks. But because we need an int bonus, I'm gonna do Old Valia, because it doesn't really matter. And then here's our background. This kind of matters. These affects skills. These are like skill checks. The lore is your ability to use magic scrolls. It also is allowed to use. It's also history and how to do library stuff. Lore is pretty important. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. This guy might be my mechanic. There's also stealth. I'm never going to use that. I never do. Survival was the least important skill. Now it's a little bit more important. Due to the fact that it affects camp bonuses. Stealth mechanics is traps, picking locks, finding traps, disarming traps. Stealth and survival. Athletics. Athletics is very important for melee characters. I actually might have you have high athletics. Now that I think of it. Because athletics allows you to heal yourself. Athletics gives you a self-heal that you can use every encounter. No, I don't want you having lore though, because you're already a spellcaster. You don't want lore on spellcasters. Because lore is really good for like, hey, I could use spell scrolls instead of using actual spells. You could put lore on a fighter and have them actually be able to cast fireball. But this will be a mercy. Portrait and head. Obviously, we can't choose facial hair. We can't do hair. God likes to have 3 customizations. My favorite one because it looks like an amygdala from Bloodborne. So, others are fine. Then you choose your voice.
Yes, I'm flattered.
Let's go!
Time to see and not be seen.
To whispers and shadows.
I think one of these is Matt Mercer.
Watch and learn.
Kill them all! A blade in the dark.
That's Matt Mercer.
Well, now I am the leader of the group. Keeping an eye out.
That's Matt Mercer. I think that's Matt Mercer. Probably. I don't know. He looks very sinister. I don't know what we're gonna name him. We could call him... It doesn't really matter. This is never like... This is basically something that is on the save game and is never brought up again. I don't even think they mention you by name. I think they literally just do like the World of Warcraft thing where it's like, ah, hero, or champion, or watcher, or whatever. Spoilers for the watcher part. I'm gonna call him Bill. Why not? Very high fantasy Bill. "24-minute character creation. Good job, me." Caravan Master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering. Emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass in the...
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
The last caravan master turns to you, frowning as he leaves.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day.
That's high fantasy for I got dysentery.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Where would I find these
They
berries?
grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
What are
Nothing
those
you won't
ruins?
see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear.
Glonfothans are effectively the natives here, and they are not nice to people. Or not to
Of course,
outsiders.
all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
Did build
Got
the
different
ruins.
names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Yeah, so there's an old race called the Ingwithans. They are... We'll actually learn a lot about them in this game, and not so much about them later on. They are highly capable, very advanced race, and they all disappeared for some reason, we don't know why. It's dangerous out here.
Not if you hurry about your business, and not if the weather holds up.
What kind of weather do they got out here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beawick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
What are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground?
They don't got Audra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
The Soul Butchers are the terse name that you use for animancers. Animancy is... They are basically scientists of the soul, and it is a very, very...
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
Hands off the travelers, eyes at length, pretty armor clad. Who has spent journeys night uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha! He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man. Let's get
What does
going
it say?
before you keel over.
Oh, nobody likes animancers. The people who do like them
see it
tentatively.
I'll see it done.
Aye. Yes.
It's finished.
They do not care that I'm looting their caravans. Fine.
Anyone need supplies? I've got sundries for sale.
You can bring up interactables by pressing tab. I'll be doing this a lot. Blue means it's free to take. Even if it's in someone's house, blue means it's free to take. I think this is a pre-order bonus. Very overpowered. Kinda cheap. I'm gonna wield it in it. Also, the pig is a pet. That gives a bonus. Nope, never mind. Doesn't give a bonus. That's 2. Pets don't give bonuses. I have mail, which is kind of okay. Obviously, the /14 damage reduction bonus is very good. That's very high, and a lot of things in the beginning of the game do slash. A lot of things in the beginning of the game do slash and pierce. So you don't want stuff that has really low slash and pierce damage. But I could talk to Hayden, who has a voice like Sam Riegel.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road. Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
So he actually sells every weapon, not every weapon, but one of each like simple weapon in the game. And each weapon does something different. So obviously it's like the from most important to least important. The most important is it two-hand, one-hand, and is it a shield, is it range? And if it's ranged, is it regular range or is it a reloading range? Crossbows reload means they're slow, so you have to wait to take your turn, and we'll show you more about this combat. Have to wait till the turn comes up, have to shoot the thing, you have to wait again, and then you have to reload, so it takes forever to fire these things. Greatsword is just a two-handed. It does 2 different types of damage, slash and pierce. That's its bonus. A hunting bow is just like you shoot an arrow that does pierce. Wow. So pikes have longer range. Quarterstaffs have longer range, but they do crush instead of pierce. War bows are slower. Battle axes have a crit damage multiplier. I've never seen it used. Maybe barbarians are good with it, but I wouldn't. Daggers have an accuracy bonus. That's actually really good, but they do less damage. Like the battle axe does 12 to 17, daggers do 10 to 14. They'll hit more often, and accuracy is incredibly important because it can affect damage if it causes it to crit. The way damage works in this game is you roll a d100, you subtract the enemy's defense, and you add your accuracy. If it's above 100, it's a crit. If it's 30 to 100, it's a hit. No, if it's 50 to 100, it's a hit, and I think if it's 30 to 50, it's a graze. So a more accurate weapon can lead to more damage. But that's because it hits more often, or it crits more often, or it doesn't graze or misses often. Flails convert grazes to hits, so if you have a really bad accuracy, flails are really good. Rapiers just have increased accuracy. Rods do pierce and slash. Rods do pierce and slash. Scepters do pierce and crush. Then wands do pierce, but they're faster. Swords do slash and pierce, so that's their bonus. Shields increase deflection, and are one of the only things that increase deflection and reduce accuracy. But small shields don't reduce accuracy. Then you have armor, have heavy, so basically it changes your recovery speed. Brigandine is Brigandine's okay. It having really low corrode, kind of bad, because that's probably like the 3rd most used thing beginning of the game. I think frost is used a lot too. But it makes you go very slow. You would only really put it on literally your AC tank. Hide armor is extremely good in the beginning of the game. Road obviously isn't too bad, but it does give 6 pierce and 6 freeze. These 2 are integral to the beginning of the game. Leather's also really good because it does slash 9 and it's me. Then there's padded armor, which is okay. Potion minor regeneration, and lockpicks. Lockpicks are useful too. But, because this guy has actually not too great of a melee, he's gonna give a rapier. Oh wait, no. He have a rapier? He does. This stiletto's bypass DR. Damage reduction is, if you ever played Fallout New Vegas, it's exactly like have your damage, you minus it by the enemy's damage reduction, and then the end result is your damage. There are things that reduce damage reduction, there are things that bypass damage reduction, and then there's some things that don't bypass damage reduction as well, but they do more damage.
Well?
I don't actually need anything from here. I might want the lockpicks, but in all honesty, let's get the lockpick.
Something else you...
That might actually be... I can't... No. So now we are looking for spring berries, because I got the tummy grumbly. Bad.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
That's a dead end. So this is how combat works. It is real time with pause, so you'll be pausing a lot. Me, over here. So I press spacebar to unpause. And then this little bar is when you can do your attack. Ciphers start with them up. So this is your focus, this is what I cast spells on. Everything here costs 10 focus. I have 7. So I need to hit something to get more focus. I did. I have 9, so I still can't cast anything. But because I keep missing. There we go. Now I can do antipathetic shield. Field. Not shield.
What you need?
And basically annihilate this wolf. And Kaliska accidentally. Yeah, that's the problem with antipathetic shield. So there's a beam between me and the enemy, and anything in between that gets absolutely new. Which just so happened to be Kaliska.
As you wish.
Unfortunate.
This is it.
Spring berries, that's what I needed. Look like you've seen your share of action here. This basically is like what your background was. This never comes up again. But it's a nice, it's like that Oblivion-esque thing is like, oh, what was I before this? And you can just about like, none of these. That is any. How do you come here? Either, yeah, I'm done. A long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. What did Radrick's offer? Okay. Not sure, this might have been mentioned in the intro. Radrick is offering free land because he is an up-and-coming lord and needs peasants. A lord over. But no, I'm just bad. Anyway, I'm wasting my time. Odamal. Are you here? I moved out here sometime back. Letter, she seemed worried, but that voices out and that a little work. Ages, been doing guide work and oh, cool. That's not too far away. Would I do anything for her? She's a much better woman than me. Here to it. Odama, I've worked with before. He doesn't usually drive a route this way. Doing it for me. By yourself. By simple needs. That way. Friendly Wanders 2. We started in Deerwood, but my ended up in the loop. Got a brother in Rautai and another in Adir. Sister in Gilded Fair. She's the only real homebody. Wow. Deer, hey? Tell about the Deerwood. Not much for history, but from what I know, it used to be part of the Adir Empire. Broke off after the war sometime years back. The locals here are feisty, and that's how they like it. Just think of Adir as like the American colonies. That's the closest thing it is to a real life scenario. Everyone here is like real angsty. It's it's a nice place, and it's also not a nice place. I've been out of touch, but I've been hearing weird kind of things about it lately. People have been, people having trouble giving birth. I guess a lot of them going on for years now. Somehow it's getting worse. I'll have to ask my sister more about it. I won't talk about this yet. No, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparful's getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like. He feels like it. We check up on him first, slap him around a little. Room's just down that way. Come on, let's go get your water. Alright. Great deal of reading in this game. Now, normally on the overmap you can find stuff like herbs and sometimes treasure, but for the most part it's fairly empty. It's just there to look good. You'll also find random encounters. Not random encounters, but you'll find like encounters. There really is not a lot of random encounters. Leather armor, I'm putting that on right now. Because I will take the, so male armor has a DR of 9 with a 14, okay. This is probably a bad example. But this has a DR of 6, but has a slash DR of 9. So it has a heavy armor rating of slash damage, but it has like light armor, worse than light armor rating for corrode damage. And it has a DR of 6, so it's medium armor base.
What is it?
Because of a lot of things are going to either do pierce or slash. Good that we have that. Plus, I'll attack fast, which is important first.
What you need?
Iliska's a fighter. She hits
Yes.
things. She's hard to kill. She has high HP. She starts with high deflection. She has a deflection of 33.
What
I
is
have a
it?
deflection of... I don't even want to look. I'll look. 24, yeah.
Well,
She has
What a
almost
surprise.
50%
Sparkle
higher
went hunting. This is
deflection
recent.
than I do.
Not good.
Every point in deflection mathematically works out to basically 1% chance less to get hit. A little bit more complicated
Sparkle?
than that. But...
Are you all right?
Oh, Sparful! Collapses forward in heat, a feather shaft, and he gets hit by an arrow. Now we're gonna get hit by arrows. Because we're under attack by Glanfather.
Ambush!
Glenfeather Hunter, Glenfeather Hunter. Alright, so, what we can do, well...
is it?
What you need?
I'll start hitting this one, she'll start hitting that one. I have more damage than she does because I'm dual wielding and she has a torch. Theoretically, I could give her a shield and she can have even more deflection. But now... Whisper of Treason on the Glenfeather Hunter. Now she's on our side. So now we can finish off this guy. And the reason why... oh! That's 12.1 sec. I crit my attempt to hit. I crit that Whisper of Treason. Yep. I rolled a 91 plus, so... I know this is really tiny, and obviously it's over-explaining, but my accuracy was 36. Their will, which is the thing that defends against mental attacks and attacks that go, like, attack your, like, soul or your beat or your, like, personhood or whatever. Their will was 22. So I had an additive of 14 to my roll. So I added 14 to my... I rolled a 91, add 14, I got above 100, I crit. That means... I had... Instead of charming them for 15 seconds, I charmed them for 22 seconds. So I had a 50%, another 50% increase in my length of time that they were controlled. Now, they don't fight back when they're charmed. Or, well... there is a period of time, like I think attacking them can break them out of it. Not always. So basically charming them gives you free hits. And it can be kind of bullshit. Antipathetic field does not affect the person you are targeting. So I can't use it single target. I can do this. And just keep attacking. So yeah, that effectively acts as a hard stun, but also puts them on your side. Charmed and domination attacks are very powerful. I think that, yep. Purple is hidden objects. You can sneak, increase your chance of finding hidden areas. The disappoint. This is a bad gun. Made at first glance, but closer scrutiny reveals poor design and shoddy craftsmanship. You'll occasionally attempt to use it just to see if maybe the whole thing was made to look this way as an elaborate ruse. This is a bad gun. It has the enchantment of terrible. -8 accuracy, -33% damage. It's a bad gun. But you could sell it. I think. How much is it worth? 40 CP. You could sell it for 40 copper pieces. Copper pans. And there are multiple different currencies in the game, but it all goes down back into like copper pans. Just basically, you can think of it as copper piece. Yeah, we're under attack by barbarians. There's some more barbarians.
Well,
like before. Oh, first I have to hit something. Alright, I crit again! I rolled a 97. So accuracy -20. So now, mathematically, if my accuracy was lower than their will, it would be impossible for me to crit. But because my accuracy is higher than their will, it is very easy for me to crit, apparently, because I did it the second time in a row. So, he's charmed for 21 seconds. So these two people are going to be long dead before he breaks out of this.
What?
Also. No, I can't do it on allies. Wording is important. This can only be used on enemies. I cannot use this on an ally. So now that he's charmed, I can't use it.
yes. Kill them all!
If you could use it on allies, it'd be overpowered. Because then I could just use it on Calliska and never have to worry about damaging her. And this is where skill checks come in play. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travelers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Calliska puts the back of her left hand off as they poured away some of the poisonous veins. Dark figures stand above the fallen, treading on backs and heads, jerking their axes from bodies as half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe with a thick beard tasseled in knots, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man who recognizes Aiden, last of your caravan left standing. Get on your arms, trespass. Not forfeit this life for a fight you will lose. This is where skill checks come into life. The ruin has not been sullied by your hands. So basically, I have a lore of 1, so I know that these people are being big bunch of dicks. We didn't trespass on their ruin, so it's illegal to do that, and they have a right to kill people to do that, but we haven't done that, so they should stop. Your words carry no weight when I have seen the truth in my own eyes. Blood must be paid for this intrusion. So I say again, lay down your arms. So there's a bunch of skill checks. A whole lot. So you can kill him, but you might as well be killing yourself. Rush the man. Act. Judging by the staring of animal teeth around your neck, I'm guessing you were worshippers of Galawen. Galawen is one of the gods. Galawen told you to stop protecting the ruins. Would you? Galawen is the god of nature and basically is literally the absolute like embodiment of social Darwinism. The weak will be called while the strong will survive. This one is probably correctly. This one is best. Shoves Hayden towards you as he does. The man raises the blade against his torso. Screams. Oh, this was not the best one because he gets hit. Yeah, he gets an injury. Somehow he got bruised ribs from that, but yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
Hayden is a rogue, and he is now part of our party. Also getting his ass kicked right now. And I'm also missing every shot. Come on. There we go. Alright. So now, this beam, I think this is hitting Hayden. Maybe. This beam is hitting this guy and this guy, so these guys are not long for this world. Yep. I think I hit Hayden, too. Yeah, I knocked out Hayden. Have to be really careful with that spell.
Yes.
Alright. Win. Da-da-da-da. Give us. And now comes a Buick. Build begins to sweep in, and where it pierces you, it feels as though it is rending you apart from within. This is literally tearing my soul from my body. Beat against the wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across the chest and bowel. Odoma's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head. Their eyes barely open, he looks directly
Get
at you.
inside! Run!
This is the part where we run away. So this is the part. Oh, running against a gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step. You set your hand in the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up at the precipice. The last burst of energy before your arm gives out, you swing yourself up. Hayden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by early. He nears the top of the rocks. One of the fallen attackers, who had been feigning death, lunges for Hayden and topples him on. I could either leave him to die, or I could throw my weapon at him. And lose my weapon, by the way, but I don't have anything else I can do. So I free him, but diving out hard rock, you manage to catch hold of it, secure the other hand, pull with waning strength, and it feels as though your arms will be jerked from their sockets. Long enough for Hayden at his feet and join. There is a deep resonance to the falling wind right now. Feel it in the rocks beneath your feet and inside the cavity of your own chest. Though it would shake the marrow from your bone. Each new gust menaces the old stone before you, loosening protection, balances, dart beneath the archway. The fire portal begins to fall beneath its. And we're trapped inside. Yay. No escape.
Yes.
Was that?
A Buick. Had to be.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside. Can you walk?
Alright. Aiden has 2 injuries. Because one from before and one from me killing him. So you may not be very long for this. Antipathetic field is very good at using it.
That should be far enough. But what now?
We look for another way out. Storm has to die sometime.
The wheel is the system of reincarnation in the game. That's basically when you die, your soul goes to the wheel, go around the wheel, pop up somewhere else. So there who attacked us. You don't be upset about all this. They just don't have enough meat. Hayden wants to take a break because he has severe injuries.
Could we maybe stay here and rest a few hours?
I hate to say this, but we can't afford to stay put.
And Kaliska
Those Glonfathens
was
were
like,
right
hey,
about something.
we're not moving.
Please, I just need to lie down for a while.
But I have, like,
Then we can
all
move
of
as
my
fast
guts on
as
the
you want.
outside of my body.
Maybe
It's like,
you didn't hear me. We are gonna die in here if we don't get moving and get this place figured out before the looters come back. We've either
Either
gotta find the
rest,
exit or a damn
which
good
would be the
place to
smart
hide.
decision. You know what? Let's see what happens when we
This'll
rest.
be the end of us. No,
Thank you.
Well,
We could rest. But something bad's gonna happen. And
Wonder
it'd be,
who was here. See if they left anything useful behind.
camping supplies. Shield. I actually don't have a weapon. Wield axes.
yes.
And if we camp, where'd Kaliska go?
By the gods, that
Did leave us? She won't get far unless.
damn her. She took all our water.
Yes.
Kaliska. On the bright side, we have no injuries, and Hayden won't die while we're exploring this dungeon. Way injuries work is you get 3 injuries. If you get a 4th injury, you're dead. Like, you... game over, basically.
Look at the tiles.
See?
What are those symbols?
Kaliska decided
Oh,
to split
Kalisha.
the party, and now she's dead.
They'll never know I'm here.
We're just gonna take her stuff.
Found something.
Aiden knows how to disarm traps, so we'll let him do that. Get experience for this, so might as well. I don't think you get experience from disabling them the other way.
Worth a look.
Obviously, this takes a little time. Alright, completely
What
safe.
is it?
That roundish symbol. I'm pretty sure I saw it on one of the tiles back there.
This is how you solve it the normal way. You basically light each one of these, and these disable. Except for one specific one. I think is the... Each one of these represents a race. I think the... aren't represented. But,
Yes.
yeah, godlikes aren't represented. This is... the Amawa... Next one. Amawa, Dwarf, Orlin... Wait. Amawa? Orlin? Human? Elf? That might be elf, that might be dwarf.
What is it?
Ooh,
Bring
oozes.
them down.
The oozes tend to have very high will, if I recall correct. I don't think this is going to work. Actually, wait. You want to whisper the one that's damaged. Let's see. Will, no, they have very low will. Never mind. This was just a hit. That whisper of treason was only a hit. It was great. Not gonna last very long. Axes are probably my favorite melee weapon in the game, and the reason behind that is because they give deflection. Hatches give deflection. Great. It's fast. I think this is like the best thing for a melee cipher.
Yes.
Because they need the deflection, and it's fast.
What's that?
This is viscous slick of something dark and tar-like, runs wall, the shape and bulges, and can't tell what. Use the water skin to clear off the base. There is a missing gem. Find that.
What is
Yeah.
it?
Cypher's relatively
Well?
tanky at the moment. I would not have rested if I was like a mage or another like glass cannony type of build, because we absolutely need Liska in that regard. But because I can like, in a way, tank, it should be. Oh, Scalder. Scalders are bat people. They are blind, I believe. However, they do. I don't have any single target attacks. Actually, I think. Yeah, there's a bestiary, which is great, by the way. Scalder. Scalders are large mammalian creatures that dwell in caves and total or darkness. Well, they have poor vision, rely on their senses of hearing to navigate and find prey. Intrusions and hairs on their ears allow them to detect airflow, which is key to telling direction and communicate through screeches and clicks, and use these vocalizations in a form of echo. They're communal creatures and will nest and raise young together. Yeah, this is a well. As it might. It doesn't have any more specific info. This was just a weak skull. They're basically giant bat people. Wolf is a wolf. Ooze, a mobile carnivorous mold that develops in dark, dank places that traffic. Yeah, so I think they're considered primordials.
What is it?
They kind of have a soul, but it's more along the lines of like...
Take a look at the wall. Think we could get through?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's very complicated. Everyone has a soul. Souls can also kind of just hang around.
Do you feel that?
There's also soul
There's a draft
fragments, which
coming
are
through
like
that
the
wall.
remnants of a soul. And spiders,
Feel
which are
any
just spiders.
sign of that storm either.
That was a good hit.
What it?
Be fine. This is all going to be fairly easy fights. This entire intro. Mainly because they don't expect me to have, like... They want you to get first past the tutorial dungeon.
I could
Because
scout
if you
ahead,
don't, that would
see what's
suck.
around the corner.
What Hayden is talking about is he can stealth. But that's
What is
boring.
it?
I'll show you quick. Stealthing basically allows you to... Yeah, so you already got found out.
How can I help?
Hayden does more damage. He's flanking somebody. All rogues.
What it? No prison.
Yeah. Oh! I might have grazed that hit. Yeah. Grazes... So graze does 50% less damage, I think. Does less. So he's going to be mind controlled for less time. That doesn't really matter because... The person we needed to kill has been killed. Now he's dead too.
What is it?
There are like 6 of these in Path of the Damned. The difficulty jump from hard to Path of the Damned is atrocious. Just saying. It would be bad. We have Scolder meat, so we can actually go down here now. I might know how to do all the stuff in this dungeon. There is a Zorip down here. Grumbling, sickly creature emerges from the dark, clutching fear. Knobby elbows and thin ribs show through flesh, but you recognize it. Zorip watches you cautiously, breathing in ragged sighs. Zorip is the non-copyright infringement of a kobold. It's a lizard person. The small lizard person. They worship dragons. If I give the sculder meat to it, it'll leave me alone, and I can get this stuff back here. Which is really important. Because it's loot. You could also just attack the Zorp, but, like, I never do. Because it's so easy just to give him the meat. He's not even a threat because he's starving. He's not even a threat because he's in the tutorial dungeon. Do I have that gem yet? Yes, I do. Ingwithian Relief Gem. That. Eye socket. There's an ooze in here too. That just hit me for 24 corrode. Holy shit. Calm the fuck down. Here, one sec. Let me just because I'm scared about getting one hit. Yeah, so when you charm somebody, hitting them has a chance to break the charm, but it's still a stun. Minor Cloak of Protection, plus 5 Fortitude, Reflex and Will. These are the less important defenses. These are down here. I have a Will of 53 because of my Intellect, my Resolve. Basically, since I have a really high Intellect, I have very high Will. And since I have meh of the rest of the stuff, I have meh defenses than that. Ciphers also have a lower base defense. Kinda sucks. But it's not as bad as rogues, who have an even lower base deflection than that.
What is it?
Fighters, I think, have the highest base defense. Or maybe barbarians. But yeah. Will defends against mental attacks. Fortitude defends against attacks of the body. Reflex defend against attacks of position. So like, if moving out of, basically your capability of moving out of the way. And then deflection is probably the strongest defense. It's the defense of auto attacks, effectively. Getting hit by a sword, bullet, or arrow. Mother is about to eat. See, us hitting her broke it immediately. Eden's getting chewed on.
As you wish.
Yeah, that's kind of the final boss of the dungeon. Not super great. Obviously, this is supposed to be the easy part. That's a hat that I can't wear.
Yes.
I literally cannot wear hats. There's I can't put anything on my head because I'm a godlike.
Yes.
I have a silly head. All right, we're out. But what is this? 4 figures stand before an otherworldly apparatus. Ancient structure of chiseled Adra. Silent observer. Standing motionless in their midst, appears to be a body. Colorless as stone or ash. The other figures gaze upon it in what might become your vantage point. You're well obscured from their closest to them, out among them. Thick gray beard frames a face otherwise hidden beneath. Faded robes are embroidered with. There's a strange black head that jut out like the creature.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book. Your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth, and be assured of the great worth of your life's course.
Hey, that looks like a Buick. For an instant, the apparatus goes quiet and then, all at once, it erupts with a concussive surge. Light floods your vision and you knock to the ground. Your head snaps back as you pain wells into the back of your skull, washing your last thoughts away into the black, uncomfortable void. You open your eyes to a different place, to time. Stand in a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with iron and trimmed with copper. The style is ancient, but the chamber is far end of, at the far end, a great pillar of Adra, floor from its shimmering texture giving the boundless. Circling the pillar is an apparatus much like the one you've just seen, but immense, multifaceted, and your thoughts are yours and not yours. They seem to exist before you think are all questions. Pressing questions, troubling questions. Questions that must be answered, or... At the base of the pillar now, you see a man with a thick gray beard, ceremonial robe, crowned with a strange ornament. You know this man, walking towards him now, a pace that is hurried, trying not to. You have something you want to ask him. One question above all. Question spinning madly in your. You awaken to find the lay has been broken. It be replaced with something far more concerning. Faint whispers are audible at the edge of your ear. A ringing does not subside. Movement flits through your periphery. The look, sign of whatever it is. Find your gaze regularly darting with its way in that involuntary paranoid tick. If this is a sickness, it may be dangerous to go without treatment for long. Figures at the machine stand frozen in place. Flesh and blood the man who led them. Find Hayden a short distance away in a shadow lake of blood. His body does not. You're alone and far from help. Gilded Veil may be your best hope of receiving treatment before things get worse. Poor Hayden. But his stuff is mine. Alright, I think I'm going to end it there. At least for now. But, yeah, I thank you for watching, if you are watching, and have a good rest of the day.